Hello, so it's Picken here, and it's another Wealth Insight, and I'm actually on Santa Monica Pier here in California, Los Angeles, California. You can see the magnificent view behind. If I turn this way, you can see the pier, and you can actually see the Ferris wheel. Where's my finger there in the background? There's a bit of music because I'm out on the pier, and there's a couple of buskers out on the end here. It's a magnificent day. You wouldn't think that it's snowing all over the rest of America, and yet here it's all sunny. So what's this Wealth Insight about? Well, it's about execution, and it's about tracking. And so what I find really interesting and something I've learned is that really wealthy people and anyone that's successful is consistently measuring their results against their progress. And so all of us want to be wealthy, all of us want to be, whatever, hell of a good looking and, lose weight and all that. But the question is, do we measure ourselves? And the best metaphor I've ever been given is effectively when an airplane takes off, it leaves Sydney and it's flying to London. What's interesting is what most people don't know is that the plane takes off from Sydney and it lands in London almost without fail. But what people don't know is that every couple of seconds, the plane's system is checking, is it on track, is it off track? Okay, and before the systems, it used to be the pilots that were doing it. Because what's happening is consistently the planes are going off course, if you want to call it that. And it's the same with a boat or a plane or whatever. They've got the tides, they've got the wind, whatever, and it consistently takes them off track. And what they're doing is they're consistently moving it back on track. And what happens with most people in their life is that the plane takes off from Sydney, and because they don't track it, they end up in New Delhi. And they're like, well, how the hell did I end up in India? I meant to end up in England, in London. And the reason being is that by then it's too late. And so you need to have the systems to be able to track your progress, both on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, annual, even 5-yearly plan, to see how you're doing against your progress. I call it my SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, attainable results and time-oriented goals. And I've got them financially, I've got them for my health, my wealth, my family, my well-being, everything. And if you want to know more about that, go and click on the link below and go to the 8 steps to creating wealth through real estate. And this specific step is actually step 6. Which is tracking, and it's one of the most important steps to being successful, because you've got to have planning, you've got to know where you want to get to, but then you've got to track your progress, to get from A to B. And so for me, that's really, really important. And so really, that's this Wealth Insight. It's not a complicated one; it's a really simple one. The question is do you have a system to track your progress, and are you measuring your progress, and how often are you measuring your progress? And are you measuring your progress, your budgeted to your actuals, as an example? And if you're not doing that, there's a very good chance you're going to end up in New Delhi, India, and not London. And so coming live from California, hopefully that gives you a very valuable wealth insight in terms of you creating the future and the life that you want. And some of the wealthiest people in the world live on these hills and mountains behind me here overlooking the ocean. Most of them followed the skills, the knowledge, and the mindset that I'm giving you within these Wealth Insights, and I implore you to copy them. If they're good and value to you, click on the link below. Please share them with your friends. We want to empower 1 billion people. To do that, we have to empower the 99%, to be able to have the self-beliefs, the same knowledge, the same access as the top 1%. And that's why I bring you these Wealth Insights. Most importantly, if you want to get to London, you've got to track your progress. Make sure you're doing it. And if you haven't done it to date, no problem. But you're only as good as day one. Cheers.